I read 13 books in December and January. I had 1 DNF, 3 5-stars, and 1 popular book just kind of ended up being kind of meh for me. I'm gonna rank these books from least favorite to most favorite. There will be links and chapters below. If you purchase anything with my links, it helps support the channel. So let's do this. My first book is my DNF, which was One Night in December by Jacqueline Snow. I read this book after I had read all those Christmas books from my video, and I had read a few other Christmas books, I believe, at least one. I just couldn't get through this one. It's a second chance romance about a couple that is on the verge of divorce, and it does take place in a small town, I believe. I was not connecting with the characters at all, and I had already read so many great Christmas books that I decided, let's just read some different things. Next up is Violet Thistleway is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. I wanted to love this book so very, very bad. I did end up giving it 2.5 stars. I didn't hate it, and I thought it had a great premise. It's about this witch. I guess she would be considered a witch. No, oh, she's a plant witch. So it's about this plant witch who was previously the right-hand gal to a villain, and she has decided to move on with her life and do something different, and she opens a flower plant garden shop, and she meets this grumpy alchemist, and they build this connection and they help this town. It is very cute, but it didn't really do it for me. Next is Passion Project by London Sperry, and I also give this one 2.5 stars, and I feel like it had the potential to be amazing. It is the story about this man and this woman who meet up on a blind date, and it just ends up very interesting, and he ends up helping her trying to find her passion. I devoured probably about the first half of this book, and then it ended up having what I felt like was 2 third act conflicts, and I did not like that at all. I don't love a third act conflict to begin with, but when there were 2 of them, I was just like, okay, done. However, I have heard great things about this book, so if you can move past that, you know, it still might be worth a shot. Next is my very popular book that people really, really love that just did not work for me. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. I will not be continuing this series, but you may still want to read this one if you haven't already. The characters in this story are amazing, and it's funny and it's witty and it's very action-packed. But for me, the action was the issue. There were just too many of these battle scenes where we had to learn all these different things each and every time, and I just grew tired of it. It's just me. That's just how I like to read. So it's about these aliens that take over the earth, and basically the only way to survive is to go into this dungeon that becomes this massive, almost Hunger Games type video game, and the universe is watching. It's such an interesting premise. The characters are awesome. I just was not interested in any more battles, and I can see why, if you like that, you would love this book. It's very well done. It just wasn't for me. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. Next, I have Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, and I have to say, Ashley Poston, she does have good books in my opinion. However, I feel like after reading The 7-Year Slip, I am constantly chasing that amazing feeling that I felt when I read that book. I ended up giving this one 3 stars, and it is about this woman who is a songwriter, and she's written at least one famous popular song that was a huge hit, but she has lost her ability to write. She's just not able to write anymore, and she starts to have this connection in her mind where she can hear a man talking, and he begins to help her write a song. And so many other things happen in it. Like pretty much all the novels I've read from Ashley Poston, they just do tend to go a little bit deeper than your typical romance novel. But like I said, it wasn't The 7-Year Slip, but should you read it? Maybe. Moving into our 4-star reads, I have Bad Taurus by Caro Carver. This was the perfect little thriller. I highly recommend. Pick it up. It's about these 3 women that go on vacation in the Maldives, and they all have this connection, and things just start to go a little strange on this vacation that they're on. I don't think you should know more than that. It's very good, great setting, a little bit twisty. It's a good time. Next, I have Most Eligible by Isabel Engel. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the year because I love books about reality series. Why? I do not know. They just appeal to me. I watch The Bachelor from time to time, and this is basically a romance that takes place on the set of The Bachelor, whatever it's called in this, the equivalent of The Bachelor. And the woman that is the main character in this one goes onto the series not to fall in love with The Bachelor. She wants to write an expose on the behind the scenes of the producers and the things that are pretty questionable on the set of it. However, when she shows up, the host of the show is someone that she had hooked up with previously, had a good connection with, and was ghosted by. So yeah, I would say the romance in this one was secondary to the actual like plot of going behind the scenes of this reality series, and it made me very interested in that. Next, I have Bachelor Nation by Amy Kaufman. I am kind of putting this in the 4-star area, but I didn't actually rate this. I just wanted to follow this one up right after a Most Eligible book. This book is basically the nonfiction version of Most Eligible. It is about the actual Bachelor series and the behind the scenes, what happens, the choices that people make. If you're into The Bachelor, you should read it. If you're not, skip it. Next, I have The Measure by Nikki Erlich. I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. When this book came out, people loved it. It's about a world where people wake up one morning and they have a box with a string inside that tells them how long their life will be. And so it follows this cast of characters and how they're affected by this. The cast of characters and the people they choose to follow in this story make it so interesting because it gives you so many different perspectives. I really, really love this one. I highly recommend picking this one up if you haven't already. Next, I have Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. And this is one of those quick, fast-paced thrillers. It's super short. It's just over 300. I was thinking it was less than 300 pages. And it is about this woman who just, it's her thing to lie. She ends up lying and telling this family that she is a nurse when she is not, and ends up becoming a nanny for this family because of the lies that she is told. And that's all you should know. Moving on to my 5-star reads. My first one is The Odds of You by Kate Dramas. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and it did in fact deliver. It was about an author and an actor who meet on a plane, have a little meet cute. Things kind of just don't end up working out, and they end up reconnecting in the Isle of Skye. I really enjoyed the characters and the setting of this book, and I do think that this book should be read around the holiday season because it takes place over the course of the holidays. It's really not the main part of the book, but I think this book would be the perfect book to read around the holiday season. My next 5-star read is Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams, and I have to say that this When in Rome series, this is book 3, it just keeps getting better and better and better. The first one, I was kind of like, eh. The second one, I was like, ooh, I like this, and this one I loved. It is about the oldest sister in I think they're the Walkers. Yeah, the Walker family. The main characters in this book started as academic rivals and then became workplace rivals. And he ends up moving next door to her. I loved both of their characters. Perfect dual POV. I loved being in both of their heads, and the reason I wanted to read this one was for the banter, and it delivered. My final 5-star read is The Truth According to Ember by Danica Nava. I loved this one. It just completely shocked me how much I love this one. This is a workplace romance, and it is about our main character, Ember, who has been trouble finding a job. She ends up half lying on her application and leaving out the fact that she is Native American, and she gets into this job and she continues to tell lies. And she does meet this IT guy who is our male main character who I love. One thing about this book that you may love or you may hate is when she was telling these lies at her job, I was just like on the edge of my seat and thinking, girl, why are we doing this? Stop. You can stop here. Don't tell any more lies. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. It ends up working out. It's a romance. We all know that. But it was so enjoyable. Loved it. We'll be reading everything I can get my hands on from this author. Comment down below your favorite book you read last month, or which of these books you'd like to read.